This is SB19, one of P-pop's biggest and most dominant superstars. They're record breakers, cultural ambassadors, and the pride of a nation. They perform for sold-out arenas, top global music charts, and command a legion of fiercely loyal fans known as atin. This is the picture of success. This is what victory looks like. But just before all of this, before the world screamed their name, there was silence. Before the sold-out arenas, there were empty rooms. Before the cheers, there were tears, and nights filled with hunger instead of hope. Right before their breakthrough, the group was on the verge of a total collapse. Years of intense, punishing training had led to absolutely nothing. And for one member, the dream was already over. He had walked away. This is the story of how a group on the brink of failure and a member who had already quit were pulled back from the edge by one last song that would change everything. Before they were SB19, they were just 5 young men with their own individual dreams that seemed miles away. There was John Paulo Nace, now known as Pablo. He had a data entry job, but his heart was always in music. He spent his off hours composing songs and dreaming of a bigger stage. There was Josh Cullen Santos, a resilient provider who had already navigated a lifetime of hardship. He worked all sorts of jobs, from a computer shop assistant to a call center agent, just to make ends meet, all while holding on to a quiet passion for performing. There was Stelvester Ayero, a born performer who felt the pull of the stage so strongly, he'd left a stable job at a fast food chain, and even worked in Japan, only to come back to the Philippines. He just couldn't shake the feeling that he was destined for something more. From the very beginning, he was certain this was the life he wanted. There was Felip John Susan, or Ken, a quiet but fiercely passionate architecture student from Cagayan de Oro, who found his voice in dance, not words. He moved with a power that spoke volumes, a talent so undeniable it would eventually lead him to Manila with just 2,500 pesos in his pocket. And finally, there was Justin de Dios, the youngest. He was a bright, creative student on a clear path to an honors degree in multimedia arts, yet he felt that same undeniable pull towards the stage. Each of them was on a different path, living separate lives across the Philippines. But they all shared one powerful, unifying force: a dream. A dream of performing, creating, and connecting with an audience. They didn't know it yet, but their individual paths were about to crash into each other in a small training room in Metro Manila, where their shared dream would be both forged and nearly shattered. They were about to enter the grueling, unforgiving world of idol training under a small Korean entertainment company called ShowBT Philippines. The promise was simple, yet alluring. Become the first ever P-pop boy group trained under the rigorous K-pop system. It was a chance to make history. But first, they had to survive. The Korean training system is legendary for its intensity, and what these young men walked into was no exception. It was a world of relentless, back-breaking work. They trained every single day, including Saturdays and Sundays, often losing track of what day it was. Their lives became a monotonous cycle of dance practices, vocal lessons, and physical conditioning. But this wasn't the polished, well-funded system you'd see in a slick K-drama. The reality was much grimmer. Pablo later revealed their training was mostly trial and error. They essentially had to train themselves. He would teach the others how to sing, while the more experienced dancers like Ken and Josh led choreography sessions. It was a raw, DIY approach born of necessity. The company was small, resources were limited, and the pressure was immense. The first group of trainees was much larger, a mix of guys and girls hoping for their big break. But the relentless grind and the sheer uncertainty of it all started to take a toll. One by one, the other trainees began to disappear. As Justin recalled, "We had many members before, but they slowly went away. Everyone left." The dream that had once filled the training room with energy was fading, leaving a handful of boys in an increasingly empty space. The silence was deafening. Through it all, one person remained unwavering: Stell. Despite having quit a real job to be there, and despite watching his peers leave, he decided to stay. He was driven by a lifelong desire to perform, a dream he just couldn't let go of. His decision became an anchor for the others. His belief was a flicker of light in the growing dark, but belief doesn't pay the bills. During their long years of training, the members didn't get a salary. They'd sacrificed their jobs, their studies, and their financial stability for a dream that showed no signs of coming true. They were in their early 20s, an age where you're expected to be building a career. Instead, they were pouring every ounce of their energy into a project that was giving them nothing back. The world outside was moving on without them. Pablo spoke of the constant reality checks. You really need a backup plan. Life is hard, and we had been training for 3 years with nothing happening. You really get a reality check like, is what I'm doing still right? And then everyone around you is saying, stop it. It's been 3 years and you're getting nothing out of it. The criticism wasn't just coming from friends and family. When they were preparing to debut, the initial public reaction was brutal. They were dismissed as wannabes and copycats, pale imitations of the K-pop giants. To many, they were just another group trying to ride the coattails of a foreign genre, lacking authenticity. The criticism stung, adding another layer of doubt to their already fragile hopes. They were fighting for a dream no one else seemed to believe in. Josh summed up the deep uncertainty they all felt, noting that performing isn't seen as a practical way to make a living in the Philippines. He talked about the immense physical and mental stress, the exhaustion, and the fundamental question that haunted them all. We are not sure about this path. It was in this atmosphere of despair that Justin's words echoed the feelings of the entire group. We reached a point where we thought, nothing's happening. We've been training for so long. 3 years of sacrifice. 3 years of punishing work. 3 years of watching their youth slip away in a small, isolated training room. And for what? For silence. For indifference. For mockery. The dream was turning into a nightmare, and the breaking point was just around the corner. Every story of survival has a moment where the hero hits rock bottom. For SB19, that moment wasn't one big event, but a slow, crushing realization that it was all over. In October 2018, they officially debuted with their first single, a ballad called Tilaluha. They poured their hearts into it. It was their formal introduction to the world, the result of 3 years of relentless effort. And the world didn't notice. The song failed to gain any real traction. The debut that was supposed to change everything changed nothing. The silence was now louder than ever. The failure of their first single sent a shockwave of despair through the group and their small company. It felt like the final confirmation of all their worst fears. They had given it their all, and their all wasn't good enough. The company, which had already invested so much for so little return, was reportedly on the verge of pulling the plug. Disbandment wasn't just a fear anymore, it was a real conversation. This is where the story turns to one member, Josh. For him, the weight of the struggle, the financial instability, the public's indifference, and the crushing failure of their debut all became too much. In a moment of absolute defeat, he made a decision. He quit. In an interview, he recounted walking away from the training, out of the building that had been his second home. Imagine that walk, leaving behind the friends who had become his brothers, leaving behind the dream he had sacrificed everything for. As he stepped onto the street, a wave of profound doubt washed over him. He later shared the question that echoed in his mind. "When I got out of the building, I thought, am I making the right decision?" In that single, agonizing question lay the entire struggle of SB19. Was it right to give up after coming so far? Or was it right to finally accept reality? Standing there, Josh thought about Stell, the one who stayed when everyone else left. He thought about the years he had already invested, and he realized that if he walked away for good, he would never know what could have been. He'd have to live with the regret of not giving it one last push. "You won't be able to prove to yourself that you can do it if you don't try," he later reflected. "Give it your all. Try everything." And so, with that resolve, he turned around. He went back inside. He returned not because he was sure of success, but because he couldn't live with the certainty of failure that came with quitting. He chose to believe in his brother Stell's belief. Josh's return didn't magically solve their problems. The threat of disbandment was still very real. The group gathered for a heavy conversation. This was it. One last shot. Their leader, Pablo, described the grim atmosphere. "There came this point when we almost gave up. We almost separated. And then we talked like maybe this is going to be our last shot. Let's pour our everything here." That last shot would be a song about their entire journey, about their hardships, their struggles, and their unwavering desire to reach for their dreams against all odds. A song about looking up when everything is pushing you down. They called it Go Up. This wasn't just another single. This was their final statement. If Go Up failed, SB19 would be over. With their entire future resting on one song, SB19 poured every last drop of their energy, pain, and hope into Go Up. The lyrics were a direct reflection of their journey, a defiant cry against the hardships that had tried to break them. No matter what happens, if you set your heart and mind into something that you really want to do in life, you'll be able to achieve it, Pablo said, explaining the song's message. They recorded the song and filmed a music video, but it was something much simpler and rawer that would light the spark. On July 19, 2019, they released Go Up. And just like their debut, the initial response was quiet. It seemed like history was repeating itself. The end felt near. But then, something unexpected happened. A few weeks later, a dance practice video for Go Up was uploaded online. There were no fancy sets or high-budget effects. It was just the five of them in a plain dance studio, wearing simple, color-coordinated outfits. But what that video captured was their raw, unfiltered talent and their undeniable puso, their heart. The choreography was sharp, synchronized, and explosive. Their energy was infectious. You could see the years of training in every precise movement. You could feel their desperation and their hunger in every powerful expression. Then, a user on Twitter saw the video. This user, now a legendary part of Atin folklore, posted the video with a simple, powerful caption that caught people's attention. The post began to circulate, slowly at first, then with incredible speed. People who had never heard of SB19 were suddenly seeing these five Filipino boys moving with a skill and passion that was impossible to ignore. The video went viral. It wasn't a marketing strategy. It was a purely organic explosion of public interest. For the first time, people weren't seeing K-pop wannabe. They were seeing five incredibly talented performers giving it their all. They saw the heart the members had poured not just into the song, but into every second of their grueling training. The viral moment was the breakthrough they had been desperately praying for. The dance practice video did what their official debut couldn't. It made people look. And once people looked, they were captivated. The years of silence were finally broken by a deafening roar of online buzz. Guesting offers started to trickle in, then pour. The song Go Up, once a symbol of their impending failure, began to climb the charts. It was a resurrection born from a simple dance video and the power of a single tweet. SB19 had been on the brink of death, but in a stunning reversal of fate, they were suddenly, exhilaratingly alive. The viral success of Go Up wasn't a fleeting moment. It was the start of a seismic shift in the Philippine music industry. SB19's rise was fast and decisive. The floodgates of opportunity had burst open, and they were ready. The group that had struggled for years in obscurity was now everywhere, becoming mainstays on national television. Their live performances became legendary. Whether on the Wish 107.5 bus, where their Go Up performance became an iconic moment, or on grand festival stages, they brought an explosive energy that was undeniable. Each performance was a testament to their years of unseen work. The narrative began to change. SB19 was no longer fighting the copycat label. They were defining what P-pop could be. When they shouted Pilipinas at the start of a show, it wasn't just a word, it was a mission statement. They were carrying the flag of their country onto a global stage. This led to unprecedented achievements. In 2021, they became the first Filipino and Southeast Asian act nominated for Top Social Artist at the Billboard Music Awards, alongside global giants like BTS and Ariana Grande. This nomination was a monumental validation, proving that their music and their passionate fan base could compete on a global scale. Later, their hit song, Gento, became an approved entry for consideration at the Grammy Awards, another historic milestone for a homegrown Filipino act. The empty rooms of their past were replaced by sold-out arenas. Their concerts became massive events, culminating in epic productions like their Wakas at Simula finale concert, which drew thousands of fans. Their songs consistently topped charts, not just in the Philippines, but on Billboard's global charts as well. They went from being trainees with no salary to one of the most successful artist groups in the country. The boys who once questioned if performing was a practical way to live were now the living proof that it was more than possible. For many, reaching the top would be the end of the story. For SB19, it was a new beginning. Having survived the training system and the industry's indifference, they faced a new challenge, taking control of their own destiny. In a bold move, they announced they were now a self-managed group under their own company, 1Z Entertainment. This was more than a business decision, it was a statement of artistic freedom. Pablo, who became the company's CEO, explained that they wanted to build a system to support other Filipino artists, ensuring the next generation wouldn't have to endure the same hardships. 1Z Entertainment became their platform to uplift the entire OPM industry. Their legacy is now cemented not just in their awards, but in their impact. They are cultural ambassadors who wear their Filipino pride on their sleeves, proving that homegrown talent can stand on the world stage. They are visionaries building an infrastructure for the future of Filipino music. They are inspirations to countless dreamers who see their own struggles reflected in SB19's journey. And at the heart of that legacy is the powerful bond they share with their fans. Atin isn't just a fandom. They are the co-authors of this incredible story. They were the ones who amplified that first viral video, and they are the ones who continue to propel the group to new heights. SB19's story is a shared victory. From 5 young men with individual dreams, to a group on the verge of collapse, to the self-managed titans of an industry they helped revolutionize, the story of SB19 is a powerful testament to the human spirit. It's a story about the member who walked away but found the strength to come back. It's about the brother who stayed when everyone else left. It's about a group that chose to go up when the world wanted to keep them down. Their journey is a reminder that the most difficult struggles often lead to the most beautiful triumphs. If SB19's story inspires you, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the journeys of the world's most incredible artists. And in the comments below, tell us which SB19 song means the most to you and why. The story of SB19 and the member who almost quit isn't just a chapter in P-pop history. It's a timeless lesson in perseverance. It teaches us that doubt is part of the process, that failure is often a prerequisite for success, and that belief in yourself and in others is the ultimate fuel. They are a living example that no matter how long and dark the night is, if you hold on and keep pushing, you will eventually reach the dawn.